creative friends, it's Gwen and I'm back today with another scrapbooking process video. Today's share is for Cut to You and I'm also going to be using the Cocoa Vanilla Studio These Days collection. Now I do have a plan for today's page. I really want to use this background paper right here, and I've got this photo, actually a couple of photos which were taken many years ago of myself and my Caitlin at her niece's wedding. No, not her niece's, her cousin's wedding. The cut file that I'm using for this one is called Magnolia Banner, and it is actually the cut of the month exclusive design for October. I will leave a link in the description box below if you are after some more information about that. And I've cut it out nice and large as it will go actually for the width of my 12 by 12 layout. And then I've gone ahead and backed just the banner part. That's the orange, peachy, orangey color there. That is the paper called The Good Life. And then I have used from the A5 paper stack, I've used just the green floral print to do just the leaves. I had actually intended initially to back the floral pieces in vellum, just for a really soft look. But then once I got it all backed with the parts that I had and placed it on that white background, I really liked the look of the white on the white. I think the vellum would have been lovely, but then the other thing I thought too was, like, I'm always short, super short on time, and that would have added quite a lot of time to my page. Would it really make that much of a difference? So anyway, long story short, I decided to leave it off for this layout. I think I will try it though on another page coming up. We will see. Okay, so onto the design of the page, and this one is a very centered design, and that's because the cut file helps me choose that. That's what I love about using them. I have less choices. I talk about this a lot on my channel. The fewer the choices for me, the better and the more quickly pages come together. So the banner sort of runs right in the center of the layout, and I'm going to position my photos right on top of that banner piece. I am going to create a visual triangle with my embellishments. So that will be formed with the floral pieces that I'm using here. Some of these have been fussy cut from the pattern paper in the collection, and some are die cuts that are already pre-cut. So the visual triangle will be that top peachy flower above the photo on the right. Then there'll be the two floral pieces on the right hand side of the layout, and then that smaller floral on the left there. So if you were to draw a triangle between those 3 points, the photos would sit in the center of those. I've also positioned my photos so that they're sort of looking in towards each other. I do prefer people in photos to be looking towards the center of the layout rather than off the page, if that makes sense. It's not a rule, it's just how I like it. And I've also made the heavier embellishment cluster, so the main cluster, what I'm calling the main cluster, the one there that I'm working on now on the right is that one. Couple of reasons for that. The banner kind of dictated it a little bit, the way that the banner flows. I didn't want to cover up too much of the little end pieces of the banner, the ribbon parts. And also, naturally, your eye goes from left to right. That's how we read. If you notice, that's how we read, left to right. The way that your brain naturally works is that your eye flows left to right. So I kind of wanted that embellishment cluster to be like a full stop on the end of the sentence. I want the eye to flow from the top of the page across my photos and then finish at that embellishment cluster on the right there. I hope that makes sense. So it's this part of the layout that I'm just really auditioning all the elements in all the places. I have fussy cut out a bunch of these cute little butterflies. They are from the Take Flight pattern paper. And I'm just trying to balance out here the two darker orange peachy ones and then the lighter ones. And it does take a little bit of auditioning, but I get there and I do end up with, two of the deeper orange peachy ones on the layout. And yeah, this is the fun part for me. This is just trial and error, mixing and matching embellishments and finding sweet little spots for them to sit. I am a little bit aware of trying to balance everything out at this point. So you will notice that each of the clusters has similar elements in it. So each of the clusters ends up with butterflies, wood enamel buttons, and floral pieces. Oh yes, and also at the end I add in 3 of the gold sparkly hearts that come in the collection. And that's just, yeah, trying to make everything look consistent across the page, and adding consistent elements, so repeating elements, really helps just achieve that. I'm also having a think here about the layers on the page. So my photo is mounted on foam. Some of the butterflies are mounted on foam and others are flat. Actually, 1, 2, now that I'm looking at it, 3 are on foam and 1 is flat to the page. The floral clusters are also layered, so that one on the right, the deeper orange one on the right, it is flat to the background of the layout, but then the other 2 in that cluster, they are mounted up on foam, and it just creates a look of extra layers in the page. And yeah, it makes the layout sort of seem more detailed than it is, because there's lots of interesting levels to look at, as well as the layers of the clusters themselves. Things are getting serious because I'm gluing stuff down. I have my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive for this one, and I am just going to try and slide a little bit of that under anything that is flat to the page. Anything that is raised up, see there, I did lift it. I try not to, because often when I do lift it, when I go to position it back, it's not exactly as it was before, and that bothers me. Yeah, so I'm adhering the cut file now to the background as well, because I have left that up for most of the design process, just in case I wanted to tuck anything underneath the cut file layers. So quite often I will just adhere it in the center under the photo first, add all my embellishments, and then come back later and glue it down a little more once everything's locked into position. The thing with gluing everything down is actually, for me, like taking a breath. I used to create layouts over several days, and I would sort of position things out and walk away and then come back, and that would give me fresh eyes for the page. But now that I'm making the YouTube videos, I actually do it all in one sitting. So my way of seeing the layout with fresh eyes or taking a breath really, is to position everything first, get the feel for it, be happy with that, and then come back and do all my gluing kind of in one go. And it is like a reset for me. It's like taking a breath and seeing the layout with fresh new eyes. And then I can move forward for the next steps of the page. I hope that makes sense. And I'd love to know, what do you do? Do you create all in one go, or do you spread your creating out over several days? Let me know. So I am going to lock into position the puffy gold hearts. That's done. I've added a couple of enamel dots. Those ones are not from the These Days collection. I think they're from Unforgettable. Still Cocoa Vanilla Studio though, and I like that little touch of darkness, but nothing too heavy. I am also going to lock the rest of the cut file down into position and call the page done. Thank you for spending your creative time with me. If you like the way that I scrapbook, or the way that I chat about the way that I scrapbook, I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new to see more just like this one. More details of the Cut of the Month Club are below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!